Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside of Genie, where we will be looking today at the race meeting from the Vaal race meeting 22nd of December, 3 days from Christmas. Please note on Christmas Day, there won't be any outsiders elections being doing on 25th of December. We're going to spend the day with our family. We're going to forget about racing and then we'll be back on the 26th. So just before we look at all the racing, first of all, for the persons who are watching this video for the first time, what Outsider Genie does is Outsider Genie makes a form analysis of each race, and by this doing the form analysis, we give you the punter outsider selections, which you can add into your play, and thereby getting the bigger dividend. Now, just before we start, I just want to go to the brag file again. Yesterday, I gave you very good winners. The first one was in race one, Curious. When I did do my video, I was very strong on Curious, and Curious duly won. And I think at one stage you could have gotten like 3-1 on Curious, which was a good price. Then my other good winner was number 8, Dancing Girl, in race 3. It was also our best bet of the day, duly won. Also available 5-2, 3-1 on Dancing Girl. I also recommend that you took the double Dancing Girl onto the last race, number 5, Tal Al Girl, which I also recommended strongly. And Tal Al Girl duly won. That double worked out to 19 to 2. So if you followed the Genie yesterday, surely you would have been in the money. Just please note that I've got the subscription service going where you can subscribe to the daily analysis service where you can also get um, our race by race selections and base bets, value bets, pick sixes, PAs, all affordable, and they do arrive sometimes. Just something that caught my eye here, I just wanted to mention to you as well. When I did my analysis, I gave you in that 7 race, I told you I think Heatford 6 would run a huge race, and I also my other, so Heatford 6 and Princess of Fire was my two outsider selections in that race, and I see a number 6 paid 290th place, and number 7 paid 510, and the swinger 6 and 7 paid 29 rand. Wow, that is nice. I only realized that now. I see. That's how outside of Genie work. Here in race 6, our outside section was Beyond Temptation, and it was only beaten just by a short hit. And our other selection was number 8, Ladouche. And I did mention in my preview that I think Sao Paulo also not out of prayer. Carl Stradom riding for his dad, and that also duly won. Um, yeah, and I also said in my preview to include number 9, Irish Fling, into all your bets. So if you took my advice in race 6, you would have gotten the quartet for 1,651 rand. So let's have a look at today's racing from the Vaal. Just to mention how I work, what I do is I give you, in order to keep the video not too long, because some people say sometimes the video is too long. So I keep it around about half an hour, because that is probably the shortest that I can do it. So what I do is I give you my first selection. That's my outright selection. That is the selection that I think can win the race at any price. So I have given outright selections that were 53-1, Whirly Whirly, um, Shabba Ranks, just to mention one or two of the names that I have given in the past that won at 53-1. Then I give you my two outsider selections in no particular order. So you then can take those 2 or 3 selections. You can either focus on outsider selections or you can include the outright selection into your play. And if those horses arrive, you can then stand in the paddock queue laughing, collecting your winnings, and thanking outsider Genie. So here the Vaal, we start off with a work riders maiden plate over 1,600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. The betting is number 1, Greatest Team, 28-10. Number 4, Grazing the Grass, 28-10. Blackthorn, 33-10. Dina Globe, 5-1. Janska 13-2. I can't pronounce that name. Nisha 16-1 and 14-1. The better. The race scratch number 9, Victor Lazio, which was a winner last time out. Now, the favorite here is number one, Greatest Team, and with no disrespect to anybody, trainers, owners, or anybody. But this horse has had quite a few chances, 13 runs, only 4 places, nothing to get excited about, but it's the favorite. And then you get the second favorite here is number 4, Grazing the Grass. Now, Grazing the Grass ran last week behind Victor Lazio. Let me give it to you guys. Hold on to your hats. 12 lengths, 12, he ran 12, 17 and a half lengths behind, but it's the second favorite. I cannot, sometimes I really don't understand how bookmakers price up. Just because the cock is the trainer, now the horse is second favorite. Because this is extremely weak field. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a horse that it hasn't had a lot of runs, that can improve, and I think I found such a horse for you. Here you've got number 7, Dean Dean Agello. Sometimes but anyway, don't worry about the name. The number is number 7. Now this horse only had 2 runs over 1,200 meters. Now, if you do and you look at this form, he only finished 4.5 lengths, although 12, but only 4.5 lengths behind Successful Secret. Now, that Successful Secret, there was some useful performance in that race, but it seems to me this horse was just outpaced. And I think today, over this 1,600 meters, with this experienced jockey, P. Malangeni on board, he has won quite a few of these races in his time. He's no fool. He can ride a horse. And I think looking at this horse, he does show pace. I mean, you can see that. But I think, and another thing that I've realized is flying the flag. It looks like his progeny takes a take a little bit time to find their feet, because he battled to get his first winner, but he is getting winners now. But his first winners only came after a few runs and so forth. So maybe, you need to give them a chance. And I'm telling you, this 7 Dina Jello is going to run a huge race today. At 5-1, I was actually thinking of making my best bet of the day, because if you have a look at this field, really, guys, I mean, there's no formula. Yes, you got Cora. Cora ran 16 lengths behind Quattro Passi over the 1,600 meters. So definitely, I would think, here's some horses there. Here's a horse number 2. It comes from PE. It couldn't win a race in PE against weaker company. But even in this company, I'm giving this horse a place chance. I have no idea who this jockey is. It's the first time I see his name, so I cannot comment on that. Yes, number 3, Rampage. The most positive thing about Rampage is 2 things. Mutsia is riding him, and he used to be a champion. And this horse has run over longer distances, where it ran like 2.5 lengths behind Nordic Queen, which wasn't a bad effort. But lately, 21 behind and Bimax, you will see in the next race, there's quite a lot of form behind Bimax. But in this weak field, this horse can actually play a place. But I'm thinking number 4, Grazing the Grass. Wow, I don't know. But then I want to just discuss this horse here at the bottom with Karen Fisher on board. This horse showed a lot of pace last time out. But I think if she can settle this horse a little bit and let him get him to run on, that this horse can probably be involved in a finish. But if they're going to take the horse to the front, it's not going to make it. So they're going to have to settle the horse and, bring him with a run. And that, I think that would be their best chance. So let's move on to race number 2, which is another maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,600 meters. Let's have a look here at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 6, Legal Star, 2-1, 2-1, Keeping the Peace, 8-1, Incognito, Destiny Rules, 9-1, Bright Eyed Girl, 10-1, Pinner, 10-1, Black Eyes, 12-1, Riveting, 25-1, Rose Willow, 25-1, and Longer the Rest. Now here in my first selection here is number 9, Rose Willow, a 25-1 shot. Now the Brett Weber stable is in form. I just want to show you guys something that caught my eye here when I was looking at. You have a look here. You'll find Brett Weber here. This is the lock for Vaal top trainers by stakes. Brett Weber 41 runs, only 6 wins, but a strike rate of 14%, which is the third highest behind Terry and Houdelakis. Second places, and so here he is on the number 7, beating a trainer like Michael de Kock at this stage in terms of percentage winning. So I don't think my selection is this. Let me explain to you why I fancy that number 9, Rose Willow. Rose Willow is a main am by announced me. Now this horse, if you see the first race, it ran Flower of Scotland 25.3, and then behind the Highborn Lady. Didn't run on too slow. It was slow into stride. And then last time it ran at 23.2 over 1600 meters behind Showdown Kids. Now, what applies in the first race for that horse, I'm sure is going to apply to number 9, Rose Willow. In that number 9, Rose Willow is also looking for the longer distance. And the jockey is riding him for the first time. And I'm telling you today, you need to put this horse into all your play. This horse today, Rose Willow, is going to run a huge race. My outsider selections in this race is number 13. Number 13 is Pinnet, Sean Terry, Lyle Hewitson. This horse has also shown some pace. Also, this first time over 1600 meters, which I also feel will probably suit this horse better. He has some runs, some decent, respectable races, not too far behind. And I'm sure the 1600 meters is also going to be to his benefit. And then let's look at number 15, Destiny Rules. Another Brett Weber inmate. Master of My Fate by Fort Wood. Now, this horse slow, lost 2 lengths over 1200 meters. Now they're going to put it over the 1600 meters. The Master of My Fate lately are winning left, right, and center. I think there's not a meeting going by somewhere where a Master of My Fate is not involved in a finish. So here we have a Master of My Fate by Fort Wood May, and I think number 15 is also going to run a forward race today over the 1600 meters. Then you've got the favorites here, which is number 6, Legal Star. Legal Star, has been running over longer distances, but I mean, he didn't run such good races that you would want to run to the bookmakers to get your money on. Although the run here behind War of Athena was not bad, it was a decent run. It was in a future race, small future, 6 lengths behind, but was then beaten by Anatura and Perfect Angel, which is not horse beaters. Then number 7, Keeping the Peace, is another the Cock inmate. The Cock has been so disappointing lately, and maybe I'm gonna, it will be, you know how it goes when you say don't follow a stable, then they win all over. This horse has also run against some decent oppositions, but really, this form is really not that inspiring. Although he ran second behind Magical Flight. And yeah, he can probably win the race, but I will not be rushing to back the Cock horses at this stage of the game, because these horses is not running up to scratch. They're running Eastern, in and out. The one day they ran a brilliant race, and the next day they can't catch a dog. So for me, it can win without my money. I do believe the selection that I give you today in this race is going to run improved races, and I mean it. Number 9, Rose Willow, 25-1. Even if you take it each way, which I would suggest you do, I think you're going to have a nice run for your money, Rose Willow. So let's move on to race number 3. Race number 3 is an allowance plate over 1400 meters, and the betting as follows. Express from the US 5-2, Pack Leader 5-2, 28-10. Lady of Steel, Approach Control 7-1, Wazim 7-1. For 16-1, your pace or more, or mine, 20-1, Ivalo's Prince. Yeah, for me, it was a difficult race to assess because it is an allowance plate, so you do look at the horses that's the best weighted. And in this case, it was number 5, Avim, Lady of Steel, Pack Leader, Approach Control, and Express of the USA. Express of the US won the other day and won well. But the race before that, I really fancied it, and he was well in and everything, and he got beaten. He ran 4th. But I would think number 1 is not without a prayer in this race. But I've seen in these plate races, the best is always, and that happens 8 out of 10. the best weighted horses do win. And I do have a lot of respect for Lady of Steel, and I think this horse has run well. I mean, this horse ran 2 lengths behind Summer Pudding, which is no mean feat. And I think the 1600 today will be to her liking, or it's a 1400 meter. I apologize, it's a 1400 meters, but that's not a problem. It should suit her, and I do think Lady of Steel is going to be hard to beat in this field. Just for outsider selections, probably number 4, Approach Control, a nice outsider that you can maybe add into your play. Vazim is the best handicap, but Vazim has not run against the class of Lady of Steel. So I find it hard to believe that this one-time or two-time winner can be 109. I don't know why. Maybe it's one of those cases again where the 4-year-old has just been a lump with a lot of weight. And this horse came back after a race on March and is battling to find its feet. Basim, I can't see him winning this race here today. So let's, just keep an eye out maybe on the 2 bottom. They are out on the weights. They're only carrying 52, but maybe they can run, be involved. Your pace of mine coming from a long rest from February, so probably would need to run. And Ivala's Prince, I think, will be a little bit better in a lesser company at this stage. So let's move on to race number 4. Race number 4 is another maiden plate over 2,000 meters for fillies and mares. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 1, She's a Cracker 22 to 10, Immaculate 22 to 10, Shenuport 4 to 1, Rizzoli 6 to 1, Visionaire 17 to 2, Weighted Dream 25 to 1, 33 to 1, and longer the race scratch number 4. So here my first selection in race number 4 is number 6. Now number 6 is Rizzoli. It is a Jackson by a Rakeen mare. This horse has been crying out for 2,000 meters. Last time out was beaten by Wild Heritage, but I think it was the first time over 2,000 meters, and I think this filly would be fitter. And with Lyle Hewitson riding, you can see the strike rate here for jockey and trainer: 9 runs, 2 wins, second and 3 thirds. So when Lyle Hewitson throw a leg over Alexander horse, you need to take notice. Here we have number 7, Immaculate, ran behind Olympic Destiny. I think Olympic Destiny, I mean, is one of the horses of the weakest form I've seen for a long time. Well, there are horses with weaker form, but the horse had weak form, and he managed to beat quite a number of these horses in this field, which for me do not bide good for their ability, because Olympic Destiny had no form, and he managed to beat them. Number 5, a case in point. So luckily, number 6, Rizzoli, I think is a horse that is a young horse that is improving and definitely can be involved in a finish. My outsider selection is number 2, Visionaire. This Visionaire did run also in the same race behind Olympic Destiny, ran 4th. But before that, also ran here over a longer distance, a place here and there. Definitely one of your outsiders that can surprise, but has also got in and out form. It doesn't seem like he runs 2 races in a row, good races in a row, but yeah, that's just the way it is. Then my other outsider selection is number 5, Shenopot, that I just discussed, also ran behind Olympic Destiny. Yeah, so we're gonna just have to see how that form holds up. Therefore, I stick with my selection. Number 6, Rizzoli, is to improve it in the race, and I'm thinking it's gonna run a huge race. So then move on to the next race, which is race number 5. Race number 5 is a fillies and mares 72 handicap over 1,800 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is number 2, Pinup 4 to 1, Plumfield 7 to 2, 11 to 2, Curvasion 12 to 1, Kaila's Dream, Mazari 10 to 1, Peace Diamond 10 to 1, 10 to 1, Piccadilly Square, Liverpool Legend 12 to 1, Raja the Rebel 14 to 1, 18 to 1, Winning Queen, Pucker Up 20 to 1, and longer the rest. Yeah, certainly I think one of the most difficult races on this card, where my first selection is number 10, and that is Plumfield. Plumfield, I've been following him, and he always comes too late. Hopefully today the jockey can place the horse a little bit better, can run on and win the race for David Nieuwenhuizen, because surely this horse do, he needs to, it really needs to deserve to be in the #1 box. Then my outsider selections is number 11, which is Pucker Up. Pucker Up always seems to be there and thereabouts, not too far behind always. And last time out, I was watching him. He was running up to a point. But now I think today, and with no disrespect to Muciniani, but I think today we have a stronger jockey, Pucker Up. He's going to run an improved race, because I watched him and it looked like he was getting there, but you got a feeling that he's got more, but the jockey couldn't get more out of him. And I think with Samanga Kumalo being a strong rider, I'm sure he will get the best out of this horse. Then my other outsider selection is number 15, which is Magogo. Now, this is an ideal world by a Trippy May, but I've got the feeling this horse won its first race, and I always feel if a horse wins its first race, then he has got some ability, because it's not every horse that does it. Since then, hasn't done much, but is getting the -2.5 today, and I think carrying such a low weight today definitely will improve this horse's chances. So number 15, Magogo, not to be left out in your calculations. But unfortunately, in this race, there's many horses with chances. I'm not going to touch on all of them. But yeah, there are horses, or like a horse like Mazzari. I'm expecting Mazzari to win some other time. I'm not sure where it can be. If you can afford it today, maybe chuck it into your pick six. Fly North is a scratching. Cavation is also in with a chance. Danielson for Waisham Marwing. Pin Up, the favorite, also ran a nice race after the maiden. Also in with a chance, Larina. So many horses with chances. Here's number 1, Kayla's Dream, who was surprised last time. But from a low weight now today, carrying 61.5. And I think we'll find it hard to beat, to win with that race against this field today. Then we move on to race number 7. Race number 6. It's a classified stakes over 1,600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. And here another very open race, number 6. Connectivity 22 to 10, Samurai Jack 28 to 10, Tartan Dancer 11 to 2, number 99 8 to 1, Heart of a Legend 8 to 1, In the Game 16 to 1, Fantasy Flower 10 to 1, and a Tudor 25 to 1, and longer the rest. So here in race number 6, my first selection is number 10. Number 10 being Tartan Dancer, and Tartan Dancer ran a huge race last week behind Stormy Winter, and I think today definitely a contender, has been threatening for a long time to win a race, and I do feel that today can be the day for him to stand in the number 1 box. My outsider selections is now the other outsider selection. Let me quickly have a look here. Is number 14, Fantasy Flower. It's carrying 54. Has run against some decent opposition, Bruton Breach, War of Athena, Christmas Flower, and now a little bit down in class from the previous runs. He's now running in a 67, where he was running in an 89, 88, 80, 81. So down in class, a Flower Airy by Silvano, nicely bred, and probably can improve in this race, so not to be left out. And my other outsider selection is number 6, with Heart of a Legend, Larina on board. Just got beaten last time. I was shouting at home. It was one of my value bets for the day, but got beaten on the line by a Boerter's horse. But still ran a good race, and I'm expecting the same sort of a race today, Heart of a Legend. Yeah, in this race, many horses have chances. If you can go wide, if you can afford it. Convexity did win last time out after a very long race, but he's running against some decent oppositions today, and I'm not sure if he can repeat that run again. Stormy Winter is a scratching after he won last week. Here's number 4, number 99, who did manage to win, but didn't run a good race first time out. Out of the Rainbow is also, I think, a horse that can surprise. So if you can include that into your play. So let's move on to race number 7, which is a Felicia Mears, handicap 84 over 1400 meters, Class C, average merit rate is 81. Let's have a look here at the betting. Here's number 7, Desert Field, 14 to 10, 8 to 1 the field. Little rain, afternoon tea, 9 to 1, 10 to 1, Tulip Way, perfect able, Angel 10 to 1, Flying Duchess 14 to 1, Decadent Lady 14 to 1, 16 to 1, Campara, and longer the rest. So here my first selection is the favorite number 7, Desert Pride. This is a Pomodoro by Almafti, very well bred, has won her last two and relatively easy, and I do feel can go in again today with Lorena on board. I think this is one of the Sean Terry's better horses, and I feel that in this field today he can um, succeed in running a hat trick. My outsider selections in this race is number 6, Decad, Decad, Decadent Lady. This horse goes to the front. It's also a master of my fate by Western Winter Mare. Actually, nicely bred. Has surprised twice now at very long odds. Last time out ran second to Kyla's Dream after setting the pace and can do again today. I think will also be there setting the pace, and over the 1400 meters, I think will suit him better than the 1600 meters. So definitely a horse that you want to watch. Then my other outsider selection is number 9, Tulip Way. A nice Captain Al filly by a fast net rock mare, nicely bred. Didn't run too bad after the maiden, and I feel this horse has got ability. If you have a look here, ran 8 lengths behind Rios Winter last year, but then came back from a very long rest, a year's rest exactly. She 365 days to ran fourth behind Mary Gold, and I think Tulip Way can improve on that run. But yeah, Rios Winter is definitely also lots of capability, so that couldn't be that a bad run. But it is actually strange to see that his horse ran on 19th November 2019 and then came out and again on the 19th of November 2020, exactly 365 days. So keep an eye out for that one. Number 10, Perfect Alley can be anything. That one is maiden last time out. One will have to see if it can improve and be involved in the finish. So let us now look at the last race. The last race is classified stakes over 1200 meters. Class D average merit rate at 70, where your betting is as follows. The betting is as follows. Number 4, Crown Garden 4 to 1, May Queen 5 to 1, Feather and Nest 5 to 1, Hear Trumpet 6 to 1, Hertog 17 to 2, Master You Lead 9 to 2, Dogliari 12 to 1, Grindelwald 14 to 1, Pretty Jolly 16 to 1, and longer the rest. So here my first selection is number 12. Number 12 is a Grindelwald. Grindelwald, when this horse first came to the track, I think he won 2 quick races and then battled to find his feet, and then eventually, yeah, in March won another race. But since coming back, has been running in and out. But I'm getting the feeling today he's in his class. He's been running against strong opposition before, now down in class and minus 2.5. Even if you have a look at Holy Man has run some very decent races. Mind Reader, Not a Donkey, Star Flash. So I think Grindelwald today might be, with the minus 2.5, can be in the winners enclosure. Then my outsider selections is number 14. Number 14 is another inmate from the Sinden Grey stable, Lyle Hewitson riding. He's got a very good record for Sinden Grey. There's also been there and thereabouts, has been running against some strong opposition here and there. And I think if there's a Pine run a good, there's a Pride is going to run a good race, then that will enhance Feather the Nest chances. So number 14, Feather the Nest, definitely inclusion in all your calculations. As of number 15, Hear the Trumpet. Now here the trumpet gets -4. This jockey won over the weekend for the stable, and I think we have a first timer, a 2-year-old, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, so definitely with this weight, here the trumpet or horse who's always there and thereabouts can definitely go in today, so not to be left out. Yeah, in this race, many horses have chances. I mean, you can probably make a case for each and every horse. Yes, May Queen has also been running well. Successful Secret did win a maiden, but after that didn't run too well. Doc Leotti is also, I think, a horse that was a lot of talk about in his previous few races, but has also disappointed. We Old Tom is also a horse that you never know what run is gonna bring to the course. Yes, number 13, Master Builder, also not out a lot of form. Mr. Bronco is looking for his first winner since taking out his trainer's license. So all in all, a very difficult last race, I would think. And yes, Hertog ran a nice race last time out, and maybe you can keep an eye out on number 5, Hertog. That run an improved race behind Star Flash, and has come down in ratings from 87 to a 73. Has run against strong opposition, so maybe that you can follow. Silver Master last week came up and he beat that was the horse that beat Heart of a Legend. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the horse is a scratching. We just quickly check. Star Flash, yeah, Corvette Captain and Silver Master are scratchings. So that brings us to the end of our preview. I hope I could point you in the right direction for a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.